Hello and welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of the WildEdge podcast. I'm out walking with my co-founder / husband, Anthony Ackers. I'm Claire Ackers, and you might be able to hear us crunching down the track as we go out and experience the quite glorious sunshine. We are delighted to be back in your ears with a new season of the WildEdge podcast, and we've got a few changes around here, haven't we, Ant?
Yeah. I think we've had a chat really about how we want this podcast to feel more, not just valuable, but more natural as well. You know, given walking outside. I think there's a real opportunity to really bring our experience to people, really.
Yeah, completely. And so in this season, you can expect not only tales about what we've been up to and really valuable, actionable advice as to how to grow an aligned, authentic business according to WildEdge philosophy, and believe me, we've got some thoughts on that. We are also going to have a couple of new features. We are going to have Peak of the Week to get your adventurous spirit fired up, and we are going to have Claire's Coaching Corner, where I will share something really actionable, some bite-sized advice that you can go and put into practice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, actually. This feels like what we wanted to build all along.
Yeah. So if you are listening for the first time, welcome. If you are a returning listener, thank you so much for sticking with us, and let's get going.
So I think it might be worth chatting first about, you've written an article this week on LinkedIn, and I read that back and it triggered so many memories. Just for people who haven't seen the article, it was about our first business together, or rather your first business that I joined later on, and how it was an interesting journey, maybe not the one we were expecting, and certainly not the business we expected. But do you want to tell me more about that article, Claire?
Yes. So I wanted to write a piece, and it just kind of poured out of me this morning when I was walking in the woods at 7 a.m. just to try and get some Monday blues away, really. And I think it's really important to explain why we are so passionate about helping the accidental CEO. And it's the story of our first business, which was called Odesse Search Limited. It was a technology recruitment business, and it looked like an absolute success on paper. You know, our accountant was really happy with us. We had a lovely team. We had gorgeous offices in an historic mill building with kind of space to double in size. We had absolutely cracking clients. But, and I'll let you speak for yourself, Anne, I was absolutely miserable. I just was. And, you know, we were scaling the business the way we were supposed to scale a business. There weren't the accelerators and programs around that there are now. This is back in 2015. But we had mentors, we had coaches, we had industry gurus, all of whom gave us excellent advice about what we should be doing. But there was this fundamental problem, really, for me certainly, is that I didn't want to. You know, when it came down to it, I did not want to scale that business, and I was having to, I was getting the Sunday scaries, that kind of dread feeling of going into work, because I had to kind of muster this enthusiasm to motivate the team and to kind of go in there and be like, woohoo, yeah, this is what we're going to do this week, and support them. And it felt like I was playing a part, like I was showing up as, well, I didn't call myself a CEO then, I was managing director. But it just felt like I was playing this part of what I thought a CEO should do. And it was quite fun for a bit, to be honest, but it felt like I was playing at it. And ultimately, it was just never going to make me happy carrying on in that role.
Yeah, I think you've alluded to there, for me, what the main problem was. And I look back on it with a bit more forgiveness these days. You mentioned we had a lovely office, lovely clients, absolutely. Although we also had a fair share of clients who weren't ideal
Oh
as
yeah.
well, which probably contributed to some of the problems as well. And a lovely team, and they were lovely. However, I think on reflection, the balance of that team probably wasn't quite right for us either. However, I think the main thing that you're talking about there is that we were kind of building the wrong business.
Yeah.
We were building something that you didn't love, and I probably resented as well at the time. And I say look back with a bit more kindness and forgiveness, and I think that's because I don't think the way we were scaling it was particularly wrong. Actually, I think that the process and what we did was actually pretty good, in terms of like the plan we had. It's just that we were doing it on the wrong business.
Yeah. Yeah, and with good intentions as well. We didn't know any better at the time, did we? And I think an important part of the story to mention is that you had, with courage and complete faith in me, left your nice big corporate job where you had a lovely big team and security and benefits, and we had private healthcare and pensions and all that lovely stuff, to kind of throw your lot into working with me. And I really, really appreciate that faith that you had in me. But I think you'll be the first to admit that this was not your dream role.
No, it wasn't my dream role, I think. I think with a lot of people that we work with, and probably yourself as well, Claire, is that the thing is that they kind of start a business based upon some sort of passion, whether it's a passion because they're good at what they do and they believe they can do it for themselves, which is what you had, or because it's what they've always wanted to do. To start that, and I didn't. I just came from a job which was comfortable. I'm going to use that word very, very wisely, comfortable. There was no real burning platform in that job. I chose to leave it to join you. There was no pull. There's no pull for me.
Yeah, and I think an important part of the story as well, as we stand here overlooking the river and you see dragonflies and the sun shining on the water and we can hear the birds singing, it feels a bit like a dream now, remembering that time. But I remember a really, really clear snapshot of a memory, like a Polaroid taken, when I was was about to finish maternity leave with Teddy. So he was born in 2014. And I remember just being utterly bamboozled by the version of flexible working that I was being offered by my employer at the time. And I just had that mischievous thought of, hang on a minute, why don't I just do this for myself and build a business for myself? And I remember the sliding doors moment of, do I set up a coaching business or do I set up a recruitment business? Because I was equally experienced and qualified in both. And I chose with my head rather than my heart to do recruitment because I felt that I could make more money in less time and spend more time with the kids. So it was a very intentional choice for our family, really. And I can't regret that, can I? But there is a big part of me that wonders, what if I had gone with my heart from the start? Where could we be? Look at what we're doing now. Could we have fast forwarded 10 years?
No, I think it feels like you hear a lot of stories about people who set up a business and you realise they've actually got 2 or 3 businesses behind them that failed. I think we maybe shook a few of our crazies out in that first business.
What were our crazies?
I think it was just I think what we were talking about today, I had no passion for it at all. And it wasn't a lack of passion, there was also a resentment for it as well. In doing a job that I didn't really understand, in a sector I didn't really understand very well from the recruiter's point of view. And without that context, how do you get passionate about doing some good work in it? It was very much your domain, your business. It was never shared, because even though we were equal in the business, it wasn't shared because you were the expert as well. You were the expert. You were the person who founded it. It was your domain. I think we had the wrong balance of staff as well at the start. I think we both needed to to deliver. That's looking back now, it's really easy
Yeah.
to say all this because we've had the experience of going through it. We've done it again, as in like we're building the business again now, and we work with people who are in a similar situation to what we were back then and what we are now.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to look back and say, actually, start of a business should have been two of us out there working on bringing in clients and delivering for clients, and then we should have got the admin and everything else afterwards.
Yeah.
But it's very easy to look back with those, with the experience we've got now.
It is, and I hope people listening to this kind of appreciate the raw honesty and vulnerability of what we're talking about. And I don't think this is uncommon. I think this is why we work with accidental entrepreneurs, because it's so easy to sleepwalk into building a business. And I meet so many founders on that founder to CEO journey who say to me, it just kind of happened. We just kind of got a client, and then we got another client, then we got a team member, and then we got an associate, and we kind of built, and here we are. So yeah, I just want to be honest about our story. Let's talk about the pivot points, because I think this is really important. I talk a lot about my version of this, but I'm really keen to get your thoughts. For me, the pivot point was when we had Bobby, who is 7 next month. And I came back to work when she was 10 days old. I remember being in my gorgeous clients' offices, lots of love to you, Anna, if you're listening to this, and doing a meeting and pumping at the same time. And she was so supportive, but looking back, it was way too early. But I felt I had to. I felt that we had not grown the business to a sufficient maturity for me being able to step away and have that time with Bobby. And at the time, I felt so proud that we'd built a business where I could take Bobby to work. Remember, we took her to the office, didn't we? And there's those brilliant photos of, what was that sling called?
Oh, the Moby.
The Moby wrap, of you
Yeah.
typing away on the computer with her in a Moby wrap, and you both bald heads.
Yeah.
And I felt so proud we could do that. But it was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. Like, I don't think we ever managed to extricate ourselves from the messy middle in that business.
I don't think we even got to that messy middle, to be honest. It was the reason you came back so early is because you were the person who was billing the most in the business and also the person who was bringing in the most in terms of new clients as well.
Yeah.
As simple as that. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
If I'm being kind to myself, okay, I didn't step up to be able to do that, but I don't think I knew how to either. I was so inexperienced in both running the business and the industry.
You were paralysed with overwhelm.
Yeah, I just didn't have a clue where to start. And then the people we brought in again, they weren't quite right.
They didn't really step up either, did they?
Didn't really step up. We had a couple of people who did well. But, there's a lesson there, isn't there, in terms of making sure we had the right people at the start.
Yeah.
And interestingly, all these lessons are coming back in the work I'm doing with clients.
I know, it's funny, isn't it?
When someone comes to me and says, I'm in this mess now where I'm overwhelmed and I've got people but everyone's doing everything, it's chaotic. The answer is to start lifting the owners up out of the chaos, to start managing it, to start directing it. But you have to be on the right track first. So the first session is always, do you really want to do this?
Yeah.
Because this is a big commitment, a big investment.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the major takeaways I want people listening to this to get, is that I think somebody else could have pushed through that feeling. So there was a bit of the story I missed out, that pivot point. You and me walking on the hills up near Haworth with Bobby in the sling. Oh no, sorry, it was Brim and Rocks, wasn't it?
Brim and Rocks first and Haworth second, yeah.
Yeah. And we both went, fuck this. We do not love this enough to push on through. And we gave ourselves permission to go, you know what, life's too short. Let's pivot. Let's do something else. And I'm so glad we had that conversation. So to bring back to the takeaway I was just mentioning, I think somebody else could have driven that business and, built it into multi-million-pound business and had lots of success and whatever. But we did not love it enough to push on through.
No.
And I think that's why we do the work we do now. At the heart of it is to help other founders, other entrepreneurs, other strategic leaders to build an aligned and authentic business that actually they love.
Yeah.
Because it is bloody tough.
It's tough, yeah, and it's a big investment of not only time but money as well. You know, especially if you're going beyond the so this is a lifestyle business. So actually, I want this to be a proper business. You've got to love it to some extent. And when I say love it, you're not spending every day in love with it. Some days you hate it.
Yeah.
Some days it's too much. But if you haven't got the passion to see it through, there's no point building it.
Yeah. And this isn't the point of this episode of the podcast, but how different does the business we're building now, WildEdge Worx, feel to you?
Well, it feels like it's coming from inside rather than something we feel we should be doing.
Yeah. Agreed. We are still in the crazy startup phase, I would say. And I'm not going to lie and say everything is rosy, but it's that thing I say to clients all the time. The vision is greater than the fear. I am bloody in love with what we are building and our philosophy and how that's going to change businesses throughout the world.
Yeah, and we're still figuring it out, but actually we're seeing results as well though now.
Yeah.
We're seeing it work for other people, and it's like, okay. And we're starting to get to that point now where, we are in that crazy phase where we're both delivering, we're both bringing in the business, but it's not going to be like that forever. We're going to get to capacity soon, and then we're going to have to start building it up and scaling it again.
Can't wait for that. Cannot wait for that bit.
I'm excited about it. That's the difference.
Yes, exactly that.
With the recruitment business, it was very much a case of doing it because we scaled it because we wanted to get out of the delivery. Whereas this time we're doing it because we actually want to build a business around it.
Yeah. Yeah, we're having fun, aren't we? Awesome. So let us know what you think. Let us know if any of this has resonated with you. Let us know if you feel like you're in the messy middle. Let us know if you are building your version of an aligned and authentic business. We are here for the conversation. Welcome to our brand new feature, which is Peak of the Week. Over to you, Anthony Ackers.
Cool. So Peak of the Week, not really a new feature. It's something I used to run in. I was running Mountain Boardroom as a weekly article, a weekly Peak of the Week. But I love to bring it onto the podcast though, and so I'll share it on here as well. So this week we're looking at a peak that's quite close to Leeds, called Sharp Hall. It's just outside Skipton. It's an absolutely lovely day out with young kids. It's ideal for that. It's really close to Skipton. You can park up pretty close to it. And if you're driving towards Skipton from Leeds, it's like the pointy one, best way to describe it. It's only 357 metres high, but it's a nice little hill. Lovely viewpoint into the Dales and back towards Leeds again. And there's a bit of scrambling and rock climbing in the back as well.
Oh,
so
fun.
So it's a really good day out for young kids. Take a look at that one. And we'll drop a link to it in the show notes so you can find out more information.
And how are you spelling that?
Sharp, S-H-A-R-P, and Haw, H-A-W.
Always good to clarify that one. Awesome. Thank you very much. And do let us know if you go and check out Sharp Haw.
And I believe you've got a new feature as well, Claire.
Certainly have.
Claire's Coaching Corner.
Claire's Coaching Corner. Yeah. I might let you do a few, by the way, but for now it's Claire's Coaching Corner.
You do lose the alliteration though if you let me do Ant's Coaching Corner.
Yeah, we'll have to think of a new name for it, but we'll go with Claire's Coaching Corner for now. So my coaching tip this week is an oldie but goodie, and I have picked this one because it's fair to say that halfway through July, bang on halfway through July, overwhelm is a feature, right? Many of us have got kids about to start the summer holidays, and coping with scheduling problems, and the work just keeps piling up, and it's quite often that you can end your day with more things on your to-do list than when you started. And so my coaching tip this week is the good old Pomodoro technique. And I was just talking about this on one of my online communities. So the Pomodoro technique is where you set a timer for 50 minutes and you work like a whirling dervish for those 50 minutes. You turn off the notifications on your Teams, on your phone, on everything, and you do not get distracted come hell or high water. You just get your head down and you work through your list. And then, Anthony, for the final 10 minutes of the hour, and this is the bit that everybody skips, but it is the most important bit, you give yourself a little treat for 10 minutes. You celebrate, you bask in your achievements, whatever that means to you. I like a cup of tea in the garden, but you do whatever it means to you. And it's really important that you do the celebration bit because it releases dopamine and serotonin and oxytocin, and means that because you are flooded with all those feel-good hormones, you are more likely to eat that frog and do the scary things next time. And also it builds a chain of evidence that you can get shit done. And we all need to feel that momentum and like we can keep things going over the summer in our business. So that is the Pomodoro technique. And again, please do reach out if you try it.
Yeah, I do love that technique. I think there's a lot to be said for time boxing. Works very, very well.
Yeah. It's an oldie but goodie, and I know everybody knows it, but we forget these things, right, don't we? We move on to the latest technique and forget that the classics work just as well, if not better, than anything else. Right, I think that's about us this week, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. We really, really do appreciate it. Please do reach out to us if you have any comments. We will see you next time for the next episode of the WildEdge podcast.